Hello, it's Ariel Brina. Today I will be showing you how I am fixing my wedge tumbling mat. The zipper broke, so let's get into that video. Don't forget to subscribe. The first thing I did was I took a seam ripper and I pulled out my zipper. This is both sides of the zipper. The zipper was not zipping all the way. The zipper was totally broke. So I took it all out. Sorry I didn't record it. I kind of did it last night in the middle of the night and didn't think to record this. I honestly didn't know if I would be able to fix this. I got one of these upholstery needles and it's really small so it can fit through the holes that are already in the mat, so we don't have to punch any other ones because it's kind of a pain to push through this plastic. It's really thick, and I usually make like 3 knots so there's no way that it'll pop through the other side of the thing I'm working with. Here is my wedge mat and I'm about halfway through sewing it at this point in time. Whenever I started the video, sorry guys, I figured that you would want to see this like halfway through finishing this. So the zipper was right here and I pulled it out with the seam ripper. It is folded under like this because there's this area that is quite big between this side and this side where the zipper was. I decided that I was going to pop one side out like this and then attach this side that's folded over to this side. So that's what I have going on here. How I would start if I had a new needle that I hadn't already sewn with is I would push the needle through the bottom like this. And pull it until all the string went through and the knot would be underneath here, hidden away from everybody else. The next thing I'm going to do is push down on the next hole. It is kind of hard to push through this fabric. It is quite thick, like I said before. I'm going to pull it tight. Whenever you have a lot of string, you want to pull very slowly and carefully so your string doesn't get knotted. And then I'm going to go down on the next hole. On this side. Pull the needle tight again. And then I'm going to go up. And then go up again on this side. This allows you to pull this tight. And you can also go through and pull these and it'll make it tighter. We'll do that as we go and it will hide your seam. You'll just have the stitches up at the top. So we're gonna keep on going. We push down. Pull it tight. And then push down again on the other side, on the other side. Pull up still on this side. So we're going to go on the other underside, push the needle through facing upwards, and pull it tight. And then we're going to go to the other side and push it up again. One thing that we found that was very useful is if you're having a hard time pushing it through, you can take a thimble and push it on the other side of the needle, and it will help you push this needle through. And then we just keep going down, down, up, up. See how it's kind of nodding? That's what we have to be careful of. So if it starts doing that right whenever you see it, you want to take care of that. You also have to be careful to make sure that the string doesn't go between the double threaded string, so like the gap between these strings. To tighten all of these stitches as we go, you will want to tighten them as you go too. We're going to put the needle underneath, pull up a little bit on all of these, and just keep going. You might want to squeeze the mat together a little bit too. Might help, especially if you have two people. See how I have all that slack right there? And we just work it to where we are currently working, or still stitching. It gets a little tighter every single time we do it. Alright, and then pull our end. Now that's way tighter than it was before, and we will continue to do that as we go on. I do find that it's easier to push down on the double side if your upholstery needle is sideways, just so you can get some leverage. And go up. You can also pull this tight, but don't pull too hard because you might break your thread if you pull too hard. Okay, so right now my corner is folded right there, so I'm gonna unfold that really quickly, just so it's easier as I go towards that rounded corner. Oop, I went the wrong way. So if you go the wrong way on accident, you want to push the needle back through the same hole. Make sure that your needle is clear of the thread and pull it back through, and it'll bring it loose. And then you can wrap it the way that you want. Okay, so we have worked quite a long way, and now we're going to tighten again so these do not get too loose. So whenever we start to really see our seams, that's where we want to start to tighten. Okay, so whenever you're rounding a corner, having a lot of slack is your best friend, but because I'm nearing the end of my string, I didn't do that. So, just a note to self for you guys, learn from my mistakes. Now I'm gonna tie it off. How I'm gonna tie it off is I just went down on the double-sided layer. I'm going to just wrap it around the seam that's on the outside and lock it into place. So we're gonna wrap it, go back down, and then we're going to put our needle through this little loop that's on the bottom. And then tighten it. We're gonna do that a few times just so it locks into place really, really well. If you want it to do any more tightening, I would do it before you get to this point. I have a little bit that popped out even though I did tighten it, so we're gonna just tighten that down a little bit more and then pull it tight, and we are pretty good. So once again, we're on the bottom, we're going to push on the top and then go back down, holding this loop, and we're going to go through this loop like that and pull through, and that should knot it into place. You can go through it as many times as you want to make yourself feel comfortable. Usually I do 2 or 3. Sometimes I do more. Here it's got like quite a bit of pressure on it, so I think I'm just gonna do it until I run out of string, honestly, and then we will relace our needle and go for it some more. Alright, that's pretty good. I'm gonna grab some scissors, cut it. I have my handy dandy scissors, and I am going to take this and just snip it as close as possible. There you go. All done. We have a little bit of string left. We'll just take that off and throw it in the garbage. And we are going to take our needle and rethread it. So, how we rethread our needle is we're going to undo the spool to the amount roundabout that we need. We're going to take the end, put it through the little, I don't know if you can see it, there's a little hole in the needle right here. You're going to put that through, grab it on the other side, and pull. You can go as long as you feel. The longer you do make it, the easier it will be to knot it, but you'll also have to relace it less, which for me that's a win. But just something to note. So now we're going to take it, cut it where we want it, let go of the spool side, and we have 2 strings. We're going to take these strings, we're going to knot it, take them both, make a circle, grab it, put the end through, and then pull. And we're going to do that like 3 times. The holes that were in the wedge from the zipper were kind of big, so we don't want the knot slipping through the material. We've got a pretty decent knot. I'm going to trim off this edge a little bit just so it doesn't show. Boom. Now we have a smaller tail, and I'm going to pull this to where my needle is centered. We're going to start right where we knotted it, and I'm going to want to start on the bottom. So I'm going to start where we knotted it. I'm gonna go in on the top, pull it through. And then I'm going to go back down. And I'm going to keep on doing what I was doing before. The sides are not lining up. Okay, as you're nearing the end, the slack is going to be your friend again. So we can tighten it later, but try to have quite a bit of slack here so you can see what you're doing. Now, we're all the way down here. We're going to take this needle and push it through, if you can. Oh yeah. There we go. Push it through this bottom part first. And then we are going to push it through the double-sided part. So we get a nice little stitch. And then we're going to open this baby up a little bit, get a little slack. And do the same thing that we were doing before. Down. Then up. And then we're gonna go through this area again. Through the bottom hole. So I go down a little bit. And there we go. And now we're going to try to tie her off. Upper hole, we get our slack here. We're going to push down through the bottom hole. And I'm going to cheat and go underneath because why not? And put this string, make sure we got it straight, and then put it around, put the needle inside. Pull her tight. Do that same thing a few times. Needle slack. Push through. In this final knot, I'm actually going to go through both just to make sure it really secures it. Then we're going to go through the bottom bit again. And then the double-sided bit, bottom hole again. Okay, and then we're going to pull that tight and go here. And then I'm just gonna trim this as close as I can get with my scissors or my my seam ripper, and we're all done. She's completely stitched up. A little bit imperfection here, but that's okay. We started here all the way up. We keep going and going and going, and then that's where we restarted our string, and that's where we had our little trouble with the dots not matching up, or the holes not matching up, and that's where we tied it off. Now we have a functioning mat. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell.